Hello, everyone out there in movie land. I am Hank. We are here today for your AMC Thursday ticket. All right, we are here for AMC's Thursday ticket today. I am joined by Mr. Jordan.
Happy Thursday, everyone. I am thrilled to be here because we have some great movies to talk about.
Great stuff to do this week. We do have to start, before we start talking about movies, for our loyal viewers out there, we have to talk a little bit about last week's show. We had a minor technical difficulty, and we kind of missed a fairly important part of the show where we talked about an amazing exclusive offer we have going on. So, Jordan, why don't you take it to him this time?
So the offer was so great that it broke our audio. But in all seriousness, this is a live show, so occasionally we are going to run into technical difficulties, which are never ideal. But let's go and talk to what Alicia mentioned last week on the show. So we have an amazing offer from now until April 30th. Every time that you buy tickets on amctheaters.com or the mobile app, this is every single time.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
You are entered to win free movies for a year.
Whoa. Like a whole year.
A whole year.
And you said anytime, any movie.
Anytime, any movie.
I could go for Tomb Raider tonight.
You buy your tickets on amctheaters.com or the mobile app, you're entered.
Go to A Quiet Place in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Maybe near the end of April, we're getting kind of towards a bigger movie. Maybe I could go see The Avengers.
Yes.
Am I entered then?
You are entered then because it's until April 30th.
April 30th.
But let me tell you a story about Avengers, Hank. So I'm driving home on Friday. It is, that's me driving home.
Got it.
It was a long week. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I go to get my mail, and what do I find in there?
Tax refund.
No, I haven't gotten that yet.
Oh, okay.
But instead, I got this Entertainment Weekly cover featuring Captain America. Did you get one of these?
Well, just as a matter of fact, I did, Jordan.
Whoa!
Look at this.
So
I got a three-banger on the front of mine. I got Thor, Groot, and Rocket Raccoon.
I got Captain America.
I mean, he's pretty cool. He's got a beard now, so you know.
And no shield.
Yeah.
But it's one of 15 Entertainment Weekly covers featuring Avengers Infinity War characters. And the cool thing is, if you put them together, all 15, just imagine that there's 13 other ones in here. It creates the giant A Avengers logo. And so we're 42 days away
42 days away.
42 days.
42 days away from the Avengers. It's amazing.
And since we're getting closer, we're starting to see more from the movie.
Yep.
And actually, Marvel Studios tweeted today that there is a brand new trailer coming tomorrow.
Oh, so we're 42 days away from the movie and less than 24 hours away from the new trailer.
Seriously, cannot wait. But there's also some DC news that happened as well.
Go for it.
A few weeks ago, it was reported that Kristen Wiig, best known for her work on Saturday Night Live and Bridesmaids, was in talks to play the villain in Wonder Woman 2, the role of Cheetah. Cheetah. And for those of you who don't know, Cheetah is one of Wonder Woman's main villains, being described as the Joker to her Batman.
Okay.
And so on Friday, director Patty Jenkins confirmed that Kristen Wiig is indeed going to play this role.
Wow.
Which surprised fans because it's kind of an unconventional choice. You don't see Kristen Wiig playing the villain in a superhero film. But sometimes those unconventional choices turn out to be the best.
Yeah, she's really, I mean, she's obviously known for comedies from Saturday Night Live. She's done a lot of independent stuff like the Skeleton Twins after she left Saturday Night Live. And then, you know, hearing her do this, she's going to be a villain in a big superhero movie. It's kind of weird, but, you know, I go back to 1980s when my favorite movie of all time, Batman, Tim Burton's Batman, and when the casting came out that Michael Keaton was going to play Batman, the pre-internet newspaper world, whatever it is, lost it. They just lost it. They couldn't believe that the guy who played Mr. Mom and Beetlejuice was going to be Batman, but he ended up being an iconic actor in that role and what a lot of us who grew up on that think of as Batman nowadays. So you really could see that Kristen Wiig could kind of make this her own and take it to a different level.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you think of Batman, you think of Michael Keaton.
I think of Keaton.
So I think of Christian Bale.
Well, I fully understand that. I mean, many people think of Adam West. So, you know, everyone can have their own Batman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and there's actually a lot of other movie news going on this week. South by Southwest is happening in Austin, which is a very big festival. Got a lot of music going on. But they also have a lot of movie stuff. And they actually had 3 really big screenings. And we're going to talk a little bit about each one. A Quiet Place. That is a frightening-looking movie. It's a very scary tale about a family that lives in a world where if they make a sound, they could get attacked and possibly killed by some unseen monster.
So they have to be very
quiet.
Very quiet. And
that won't work.
We have to
talk. We can't be very quiet.
And it features a real-life husband and wife duo.
Yeah, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. And John Krasinski co-wrote the movie and he directed it.
Yeah.
This is a really big step up for Krasinski. He's directed a couple other smaller titles, a movie called The Hollers a couple years ago. And this is a big studio, scary, kind of action suspense movie.
And it's getting a lot of praise from South by Southwest, praising its originality.
Yeah.
But there's another movie that also premiered, completely different movie.
Opposite side of the spectrum.
And it's the comedy Blockers.
Yeah, Blockers, which has got John Cena, Leslie Mann, Ike Barinholtz. It's a really raunchy comedy about a group of parents that want to stop their kids from losing their virginity on prom night. And the kids have made a pact. This is going to happen. And, you put John Cena in a comedy lately, you're pretty much going to get a lot of laughs. He's really knocked it out of the park with Sisters and Trainwreck. He's done a great job.
And so the parents have to join together to stop their children. And they have a really important motto that was featured in the trailer, WWVDD.
You got to tell them what it means.
What would Vin Diesel do?
What would Vin do besides protect his family? What would Vin do? We're going to find out when we watch Blockers. It looks really fun. It kind of looks like a Superbad for the new generation with the female kids in this one. It looks really, really awesome.
And there was another movie that we're going to talk about a little bit later in the show that also premiered at South by Southwest.
Absolutely. We'll talk about Ready Player One later. But for now, we're going to go ahead and talk about what's coming out this weekend with your Weekend Movie Guide. So for this week, we've got a couple really cool titles to talk about, and we're going to start off with one I'm very excited for, Tomb Raider. Now, this is a new Tomb Raider. You wouldn't really say it's a remake, more like a reboot.
Yeah.
And do you remember the first one?
Yeah, Angelina Jolie kicking butt. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Angelina Jolie started off as Lara Croft, but really it started off as a video game. It was a PC game in the 90s, and they did the big screen treatment of Tomb Raider. They actually made a couple of them. Angelina Jolie was out there kicking butt, doing amazing things that we hadn't seen on screen for probably ever in an action star from a female perspective. And now they're kind of trying to take a different approach to it.
Yeah, so this film, the story in this film is based on the 2013 video game, which was a reboot of the video game franchise and focuses more on the origins of Lara Croft. And as it talks about her upbringing, and as a result, it's a more realistic story.
It seems to be more grounded, this one. It's less fantastical, less supernatural, a little bit more about archaeology, kind of like a female Indiana Jones vibe I get from it. Yeah,
absolutely. And it stars Oscar winner Alicia Vikander.
Which is interesting because the first Tomb Raider starred Angelina Jolie, who's also an Oscar winner. You remember what for?
For Girl Interrupted.
Girl Interrupted, and Alicia Vikander won for The Danish Girl a couple of years ago. So there's actually quite a few parallels. There should be. It's called Tomb Raider. But I heard that, it was quite the casting process to get to Alicia Vikander.
Yeah, so not only did Alicia Vikander win an Oscar, she also won this role, beating out some high-profile actresses, including Star Wars' Daisy Ridley.
Oh, Rey. Okay.
Saoirse Ronan, who was nominated for Lady Bird.
Yep. She also was a good action star in Hannah even a few years ago.
Yeah. Cara Delevingne from
Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets. Got a full title.
And Suicide Squad. And also Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones, and we'll also see her in Solo, a Star Wars story, this Memorial Day.
Yeah, and I heard Betty White was in the running too, but she didn't make it that far?
I think she was the early round of auditions, but she didn't make it to the final cut.
I was hoping.
Betty White is Lara Croft.
There you go.
But there's a really great interview with Alicia Vikander talking about how last year she saw Wonder Woman in a theater, and she felt so inspired because, there's this strong female character leading her own movie, and she wanted to replicate that with her role as Lara Croft in Tomb Raider, and hope to have that same sort of impact for females watching this film.
Yeah, and speaking of impact, I mean, the video game industry is huge. It's got a lot of impact. We haven't seen a lot of video game adaptations in the last few years, or lately, certainly ones that have been mainstream. And we've got a couple. We got kind of a 1-2 punch with Lara Croft coming this week, and then Rampage in a couple weeks, which is a video game favorite of mine. I mean, anytime I can you know, put my hands into a world where I'm a lizard and I'm just destroying huge buildings. I don't know what more I could ask for out of life.
You can't ask for anything more. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a couple weeks. But we got to talk Tomb Raider. There's a lot going on with the archaeology and the search for her origin story and what's happening there with her father. So we're going to take a look at a cool, quick little scene we have about Lara Croft doing some archaeological stuff. Check it out. Lots of action coming with Tomb Raider opening tonight, and it really gets your heart racing, gets your heart pumping. Well, we got another movie to talk about that's going to get your heart pumping, but for a different reason. We're going to talk about Love, Simon. All right, everyone, so we're going to talk about Love, Simon right now, and you may notice we have a different person sitting in the chair. This is Greg.
Hey, guys.
How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing well.
And we're bringing Greg in because we want to have people that are enthusiastic about titles, and everybody's kind of got their own thing they're really excited for. Greg is excited about Love, Simon, so tell me about it. What are you so excited for with this movie?
Well, I'm super excited because it comes out tonight.
Tonight!
I absolutely love this movie. When I first heard about it, I got excited immediately because 21st Century Fox, which is a big studio, is getting behind this title. It's an LGBTQ story, but not only is it an important film for the community, but I think it's important for everyone to go ahead and see this movie.
Okay, yeah, and I heard this was based on a book. Did you run out and go get the book once you heard of it?
I did my homework. Right when I heard about the movie coming out, I was like, okay, I gotta read the book. Oftentimes when any movie comes out that is based off a book, I'll go ahead and read it. And I was thoroughly impressed by this story. It's about a kid who comes out in high school. And it's not an easy secret to hide. I mean, I know firsthand for sure. And so to see the movie based off the book, I think fans will love it. If you've read it, and if you haven't read it, you'll definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to do, to take a book and make it into a movie. It's a different storytelling medium. It's harder sometimes to translate everything that's great from the book into a movie. You get some fans who don't like it, some fans who do. But this is really for everyone, right?
I agree.
Yeah, and speaking of for everyone, you know, what we're hearing a lot about this movie is that you're getting to see characters on screen that aren't necessarily represented all that often. There's more relatable characters, that the things that are going on today. Is that kind of how you saw it? It's at least somebody on screen that you could relate to. You hope other people can relate to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wish a movie like this existed when I was in high school, and I think it's exciting that you can see it at a theater. So you can go with a date, you can go with your friends, you can go with your family. Just get out of the house, go see it.
That's amazing. And we sat down with the cast and talked about the diversity and the importance of building these relationships on screen. So let's go ahead and take a look at that video right now.
Representation is a really important idea, and to see people that you identify with and stories that you can relate to on screen can be very powerful.
It's important for people to know that they're not alone and to be able to be confident in who they are in that respect.
We have enough people telling us no and that we're not enough and that we're wrong, and so they have to meet that and fight that with confidence.
I think it's the best way to live your best life, you know, and I think you can't encourage young people to do that enough, and we all benefit from it. The more they're the best version of themselves, the better the world gets.
When did you first realize?
It was a bunch of little things, like my first girlfriend.
I think I'm falling in love with you.
Wow, thank you. Be right back. Wasn't my proudest moment.
It's so cool to see the actors and those people talking about the relationships that they're building on screen and the diversity. It's really refreshing. In this movie, and hearing about it and seeing the trailer, hearing you talk about it, it makes me think of the 80s and 90s John Hughes movies.
Oh, definitely.
All those high school things, you know.
Yeah.
There's always somebody I could relate to on screen. Honestly, it was always the nerd. It was always the Anthony Michael Hall character.
I'm not surprised.
Oh, thanks. Weird Science, Breakfast Club, 16 Candles. That was my guy. He was my guy in those movies. It's just how it was.
And the thing that I remember about John Hughes movies is the music.
Yeah.
The music stands out for sure, and it's the same in this movie. I've been listening to the soundtrack on repeat, and I don't think you guys want to.
You don't want to? You want to go?
I don't want to sing it,
All
so
right,
let's kick it off to the next
Since
thing.
Greg doesn't want to sing, we'll go ahead. That's it for this weekend movie guide. Let's go to our AMC Independent Spotlight.
As Easter is just around the corner, we have a handful of faith-based films hitting our screens at AMC theaters, including God's Not Dead, A Light in Darkness.
God's Not Dead 3.
It is the third in the God's Not Dead franchise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Paul, Apostle of Christ, and opening this weekend, I Can Only Imagine. And it's based on the song written by the band Mercy Me.
Mercy Me, yeah.
And the movie's about the inspiration behind that song. And it's one of those songs that even if you don't, it's so recognizable, even if you don't think you've heard it before, if you were to hear it, you'd be like, oh, I know that song.
That's the one.
That's the song that I know.
Yeah.
But it's about the lead singer of Mercy Me, Bart Millard, and his relationship with his father, played by Dennis Quaid.
The Quaidster. I love him.
And it's, it's a very inspiring story of faith and about family. And we also have a really great offer opening weekend for AMC Theaters.
Yes.
So if you buy your tickets opening weekend on amctheaters.com, you automatically get a digital download of the very best of Mercy Me.
The whole thing?
The whole CD. And it's before it's even released to the public, it features Mercy Me's greatest songs.
So you can buy a ticket for that movie anytime this weekend on amctheaters.com. You get the whole album.
The whole album.
Whoa.
But let's take a look at this shortened trailer right now for I Can Only Imagine.
Bart, it's an amazing song. How'd you do this?
You know, I've never told anybody my story. I can only imagine. My dad was a monster.
I cried all night about what I did to you then. If God can forgive everybody else, why can't he forgive me?
I saw God transform him. So I wrote this song for my dad. I can only imagine.
Rated PG.
Very heartwarming story, it sounds like. And the second movie we have in our AMC Independent Spotlight, bit of a different take. Gonna definitely challenge a few different emotions with this one. 7 Days in Entebbe is a very different story. This is a political intrigue and a terrorist thriller. It's about a plane that gets hijacked and what happens to the hostages and how governments try to save these people over 7 days in Entebbe. It's got an amazing cast. You got your Daniel Bruhl, from Civil War and Rush,
directed by Ron
Howard, that's right. Chris Hemsworth. You've got Rosamund Pike, Oscar-nominated Rosamund Pike, I should say, for Gone Girl. She's also a Bond girl. She was in Die Another Day.
Gone Girl and Bond Girl.
The Gone Bond Girl, exactly. And then it's also got one of my favorite character actors. It's one of those guys, he's a that guy, where you see him in a movie, you go, I know that guy. I've seen him in everything. His name's Eddie Marzan, and he's in tons of stuff. He's an amazing character actor. He's real funny. He's real serious. He can do anything. If you've seen the trailer, you know who Eddie Marzan is. But right now, what we've got to show you is we've got a really intense, really cool scene from 7 Days in Entebbe. So be ready. Strap yourself in. Let's take a look.
But if anybody tries anything, I will throw this grenade.
Everyone stand in your seat, don't move. I have a bomb.
C'est quoi ce bruit?
Sûrement quelqu'un qui a fait tomber une clope, je vais voir. Sit down! Sit! Sit!
We've got the cabin under control. It's 4 of us. We've got weapons and bombs. If you try anything, you will die.
Lots of action.
Yeah.
Very intense.
Edge of your seat
Edge
thriller,
of your seat
yeah.
stuff. You got to be ready for it.
Yeah.
We got another thing, really cool showing we have this weekend. We're having our Turner Classic Movies series going on this weekend, and we are showing the Alfred Hitchcock classic, Vertigo.
Yeah, it's celebrating its 60th anniversary by coming back to the big screen at AMC.
If you've never seen this movie on the big screen, if you've only seen it at home or on your TV, it's a totally different experience. I actually saw this movie in the theater at its 40th anniversary, not originally, at its 40th anniversary, and it really changed my feeling about the movie, how immersive it is, how different it was at the time. It's an amazing story.
So I haven't had that opportunity. I've only seen it on the small screen, but I'm excited to watch this in a theater on the big screen and celebrate the 60th anniversary of this classic.
What's really cool is this is a series of titles that we have, and we have different ones over the summer, and they're not all celebrating their 60th anniversary. We've got some more contemporary classics. If you're ready for some 11, we got Grease coming out over the summer. We got some other titles coming up.
Big Lebowski.
Oh, The Dude Abides. I cannot wait for the Big Lebowski.
And closer to the November-December time frame, you have Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Which is a Christmas movie. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
No, just because a movie takes place at Christmas does not make it a Christmas movie.
But it's part of the story.
It's at a Christmas party. It's not like, he's not Santa.
Nothing.
He's John McClane from the New York Police Department.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah. All right. This debate will go further at another time.
There's nothing that you can say that convinces me otherwise. It is a Christmas movie. But right now, let's...
Okay. Moving on.
Let's take a look at some exclusive offers that you can only find at AMC Theaters this week.
Our first offer this week is for a movie we talked about already, Love, Simon. We have a really cool offer. You know, this movie's aimed at younger people. It's aimed at teens. It should be a rallying cry for them out there in the world. So we've got a special offer for them. It's a $5 Coke and popcorn combo for Go See Love, Simon. If you're in that teen demographic, you should be there already this weekend. Take advantage of this great offer. $5 for a Coke and popcorn.
You can't get better than that.
Can't get better than that.
So earlier in the show, switching gears, we talked about South by Southwest and the two films, or the three films that that premiered there, A Quiet Place, Blockers, and the third film that also premiered there is Ready Player One.
Oh yes, very excited.
And got, you know, a lot of excitement.
Rave reviews, huge screening. I mean, it's directed by Steven Spielberg. It's written by Ernest Cline. Ernest Cline is like a geek god for those of us out there. Used to be a blogger, was, you know, in love with science fiction, in love with video games and music from the 80s. Very similar to, you know, the character he creates in the book, Halliday. And it takes you through what would happen if someone who was in love with Pac-Man and Joust and Rush, created a world that everyone else started to live in.
Yeah, and the cool thing about the movie is there's so many pop culture references. Like, just watching the trailer, it's like, oh, there's the Iron Giant. And
you got to rewind 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, there's
the
DeLorean. It's, you know, it's a very much filled with pop culture and nostalgia. Tickets went on sale for Ready Player One earlier in the week, so you can grab your tickets for March 29th.
You can buy them right now
at amctheaters.com or the mobile app.
Yeah.
We also have a really cool thing that just debuted earlier today.
Yes.
So if you go to our Instagram, on our Instagram stories,
there
is a Ready Player One themed game that you can play.
Boom.
It's kind of like a retro 8-bit game, and you are trying to find one of the hidden keys. And
I won't play now.
Yeah, we got to do a show.
Okay, yeah.
But rather than you playing, let's take a look at the gameplay of Ready Player One.
Go for it. Can't wait to go play that game, which I kind of can right now because that's it for us this week. Go get tickets tonight. Go see Tomb Raider. Go see Love, Simon. You can get your tickets for Ready Player One now. There's a lot you can do with the movies this weekend.
And as we mentioned earlier, if you buy tickets on our website or on the mobile app to any of those movies,
you are entered to win free movies for
a year.
A year.
1 year.
365 days.
Yeah. And this party doesn't end here. We're on social media.
Yeah,
Follow
absolutely.
us at AMC Theaters on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and YouTube.
Absolutely. And we will see you next week. We're going to be talking some Pacific Rim. See everybody later.